Welcome back. You are watching India Tonight with me, Sumit Chaturvedi. Well, the golden age of America begins right now, were his words as Donald J. Trump officially took charge of the Oval Office and the White House. In his inaugural address, he vowed to stop illegal immigration and to send back quote unquote criminal aliens. Now, in a bid to further his promise, he passed an order to end birthright citizenship to children born to undocumented illegal immigrants in the US, regardless if they were born on American soil. Now, reports suggest that to placate the Trump administration, India is set to take back 18,000 illegal immigrants from the US. Now, what lies ahead for the Indian diaspora in the US and how will it shape India US ties going forward? Now, let's first listen into what Donald Trump had to say about immigration.
I'm fine with legal immigration. I like it. We need people, and I'm absolutely fine with it. We want to have it. We need it because we're going to have a lot of companies coming in to avoid tariffs. You know, if you don't want tariffs, all you have to do is build your plant in the U.S. So we're going to have a lot of workers coming in, but we have to have legal immigration.
And to discuss it further tonight and to understand the repercussions and is the fears are real, we are joined by our eminent panelist, Rajkamal Rao, MD Rao Advisors, and OPED columnist Chayant Das Gupta, former ambassador of and representative of India WTO. He is also, well, let's begin by talking to you, Mr. Rao. First of all, Indian diaspora, more than 5 million strong population there in America. How big is a concern for them? Because most of them are documented. They went through legal route or not?
Hello, thank you for having me. This is this happened literally last night. I was going through my Twitter feed and then I saw this happen. And so I don't think a lot of Indians are even aware of the expanse of the executive order. Because, as you know, the thing that they did yesterday in the executive order was to clarify the status of jurisdiction. There is a clause in the 14th Amendment, and that has not been clarified, excuse me, by the US government for forever. And yesterday, Trump decided to classify that to say that anybody, any woman who is going to give birth in the US, whether on a tourist visa, whether on on a work visa or a student visa, all of those people are now caught in this EO. That is what is I think is going to stress Indians here.
Okay. Over to you, Mr. Das Gupta, and I will come to you hearing what Mr. Rao said. Well, if we talk about Indians, over the last few years, we have seen many Indians taking what is popularly known as donkey route and going via Mexico, entering US border. And that has often the overall the instances came when many of them died also crossing border. Do you think it's a big problem for those who have crossed over the last few years than the legal ones, the techies and doctors? Well, what they have been doing is making India proud over the years.
Well, for one thing, the number of illegal immigrants from India is not really known. So that would be, shooting an arrow in the dark. As far as the legal immigrants are concerned, according to the latest count, there are about 48 lakh Indians, of whom 34% were born in the United States. Now, these some of them have already acquired citizenship, but the ones who have been born, many of them are waiting for an accelerated citizenship process to kick in. Now they will be, and it has been calculated that they will number about 10 lakhs or so out of the 48 lakh Indians already there in the US. So it would be a huge dampener on their prospects, and it would create problems because there would be disruptions in families. People who have already gone to the US and were waiting for their green card to come through, they would not be able to, for instance, bring over their parents to join them in the US. So various kinds of problems will arise. And this would cause setback to the aspirations and planning of many Indians who have gone into the US in the past.
Mr. Dasgupta, for the benefit of our viewers, we would like you to throw some light on the problem of illegal immigration in the US, especially when it comes to India, because most of us again are of the opinion that in US was dream destination for legal Indians, like who had done very well in IIT, IIMs, and doctors, all of them. So for Indians, well, that's definitely not a big problem. Or you are saying that because they are not documented how many illegals have entered, we can't talk about that.
In any case, if somebody has entered the US illegally, he or she stands to get deported without, further ado. And in fact, the US has deported hundreds of people, even during the Biden administration, per annum. So that is something which, India can't take up that issue at all. That is something which, we have to abide by the law of the nation. So, and I would say that qualified people, whether they are from the IITs or any other technical institution or with a degree which is recognized in the US, they don't normally resort to illegal immigration. It is the lesser qualified people who perhaps could not make much headway in terms of earning a living in India, and who get attracted, young men and mostly men, but some women also, and people in their, by about their mid-30s, they would be the ones who would be crossing over from Canada. We had a very tragic death of a couple and their children who were crossing from Canada to the US on foot in the middle of the winter, and they all froze to death. So that is the kind of thing which is there, but we can't really take up their cause at all for illegal immigrants.
Mr. Rao, coming to you now, as reports say, 18,000 Indians, illegal Indians there, the government of India is planning to bring back from US to placate the US administration. Well, what kind of overall exercise, how big will that be? On one side, Mexico is trying to have the camps and others, but in India, bringing back 18,000 Indians, well, has this kind of exercise taken before, and how difficult it's going to be to bring all those Indians back and again bring it to the Indian soil and try to make them assimilate with the normal Indians?
So you're asking me, right? Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Mr. Rao, please.
Yeah. So actually, the problem, we'll definitely talk about those 18,000 illegals who are here, and the Indian government has already said that they will bring them back. But I think the issue today is not about those illegals who came in the last 3 or 4 years, right? The issue is this new, very expansive definition of who will be subject to the birthright citizenship interpretation. And that interpretation, as I said in the previous segment, now evidently includes anyone who is even legal. So let me give you an example. Let us suppose there is an H1. Let us suppose somebody came here to go to grad school, and they are on an H1B visa, and that mother, that girl marries somebody who is also on an H1B visa. And so the couple, they buy a home, they buy a car, and they have a baby here, right? And according to the rules that have existed until now, that baby is born to H-1B parents, but because that baby is born in the United States, that baby would automatically qualify for US citizenship and get a US passport, right? And the idea is that for some reason, let's say after 21 years, the H-1B couple, the parents, never get a chance to get their green card because today the green card waits are so long. The idea is that the child can sponsor her parents when she turns 21. So this is called birthright citizenship. And essentially yesterday what Trump said was that people who are here on those H-1B visas, people here who are legally here on tourist visas, all of those people can no longer qualify to have their children claim US citizenship. That, I think, is the much bigger issue than the 18,000 illegal immigrants from India who came here during the last 3 years.
Right, Mr. Rao, and you stay in Dallas, Texas. Give us a sense of the overall environment there, like after yesterday's Trump speech. What is the overall situation when it comes to immigrants, legal or illegal both? What is the sense over there?
As I said, this literally came out last night, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning here. And so the thing is, one thing I can tell you, sir, is that there are many, I would say tens of thousands of H-1B families today. In Dallas, right? Dallas and Houston and Austin in Texas, they are very large markets for technical people and the specialty occupation, as they say, for the H-1B visa. Dallas and Houston and Austin are big markets. So I do not know how many of them have seen this. I do not know how many of them even understand it. But I suppose we will know in the next couple of days.
Question to you, Mr. Das Gupta. One question, last question before I let you go. Well, will it cause a damage to US as well? Because having these people, millions of them deported to their respective countries, won't it have problems in US as well, where there's everywhere there's a lack of proper labor, proper people who can work there? So what impact can it have on the US society when it comes to deporting illegal immigrants from the places where they're working?
I'll go first and then I can ask the ambassador to join in. Being here, I can tell you that there will definitely be some labor impact. A lot of the jobs that people do here, like gardening and mowing lawns and working on Texas roofs in the hot summer, and even working in restaurants. A lot of those jobs the average American does not want to do. So definitely there is room for immigrants to come here and do those jobs. And to the extent that those who are deported, there will be an immediate impact. I was reading today that because of the ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement action to try to deport people who are already working in restaurants, many restaurants will have to shut down because there aren't that many restaurant workers in the back in the kitchen and to wash dishes. So you're absolutely right. There will definitely be pain felt in the immediate future. There will be pain felt. And
well, thank you, Mr. Rao, for bringing us all these important perspectives right there from the US. And it is time to take a break on India Tonight. And after the break, we'll have more news and updates from the world of business and beyond. Stay tuned.